Welcome back to another edition of the Talking National League podcast, episode 46 on this Thursday evening. And of course, it's the last time we'll be doing our weekly roundup for the regular season, as it's the 46th episode and the 46th game week. So, yeah, what a rollercoaster of a season it has been. There isn't really too much to say to it from the relegation battle, the fierce relegation battle we've had, the mid-table inconsistent teams that can, turn anyone over on their day to the top half playoff race. And then, of course, the two outstanding clubs at the summer in Wrexham and, of course, Notts County. Thank you for tuning in once again. Please remember to like and subscribe to the podcast. And please, can I also ask, if you can hear me, please just put it in the live chat, just so I know we are up and running. Last week, I scored 9 points with my predictions. Hopefully, I can beat that this week. This is what people have been saying so far. Can we all share our commiserations to Woking? I love Halifax. Yeah, a good result for Halifax. But honestly, I wasn't too shocked with that result. The way we've been playing, the pressure that Woking are under at the moment. Someone said, I hear you loud and clear. Welcome to the stream once again. Please remember to let us know who you do support when you are tuning into the stream. Answer the Q&A. The big one tonight is, who's been your manager of the season? There's another section. I think I put Dean Brennan, Phil Parkinson in there. Kevin Mayer might be in there as well. Just let us know who you think the best manager of the season has been. So, without any further ado, might as well get straight into the predictions for the final time this season. Of course, the majority of the games, to put it slightly, are meaningless at the moment. I think Chesterfield could be dropped off third if Woking win and Chesterfield lose, but that's quite highly unlikely considering who Chesterfield are playing. And then also, I think the playoffs as well, that can mathematically change as well. So I don't think they're really too fussed, but maybe Bournemouth want to finish sixth. Bromley want to keep that sixth place finish. But also, Bournemouth could fall outside of the playoffs as well if Southend win and Bournemouth have to lose. Considering where Bournemouth were prior to the Wrexham game, they need 1 point from the next 3 games to secure a playoff finish. It's going to be a little bit more nervous on Saturday than they originally would have wanted, because of course they're playing Yeovil at home, which you'd say is winnable, but when pressure's on you in these circumstances and Southend are pounding behind you, there's a good, well, I won't say good chance, but there is that slight chance that Bournemouth could slip up if they against Yeovil, and then I'm sure Southend would be confident they can get the job done at Wealdstone as well. So there's a lot of pressure on them. So that'd be the one, I think, area where I think I could see it changing. I can't see Chesterfield having any problems against Maidstone, and even if Woking win at Solihull away from home, which is a tough place to go, believe me when I do say that, even if they won there, I still think Chesterfield would get the job done. 34 people watching at the moment. Let's hear what you guys have been saying. Well, look at this. We have finally made it. I can say this again and for the last time. No pressure at all. John, who's a Wrexham fan, I think, as a Wrexham fan, it'll be highly disappointing if Notts doesn't move up. Also, simply the greatest race to a title race ever. I think we can all agree with that. To be honest, anyone who doesn't, in my opinion's delusional. I can't remember. And obviously I am quite young, but I can't remember a time where two sides have got over 100 points each. And especially in this division with how competitive it is, with only one team getting promoted automatically, it just adds to it even more. Someone said, Luke Williams, now I'll just add, this is a Notts County fan, but Luke Williams, manager of the season. The football we play has never been seen, to my knowledge, at this level before. The Notts team will be used as a yardstick to the future teams. Honestly, there's so many good managers out there this season. I wanted to add to the poll to make it more than just 4 spaces, but unfortunately I couldn't. That's why I've added the other option. Because we'll talk about this later on in the stream, but you've got Phil Parkinson, who's the Wrexham manager, who, yes, has had the resources, but I think, honestly, he couldn't have done anything else this season. So you've got to give him a lot of credit for that. Luke Williams obviously doesn't have anywhere near the same budget as what Wrexham do, but they've still got a large budget compared to other teams in the league. And I do think the football that they play is the best football, in my opinion, to watch as neutral in the division. But like we always mention, the prettiest footballers don't always win the league. But I would definitely say that he deserves a lot of credit for this season, and he's very unfortunate that Notts haven't got promoted automatically. And it would be quite devastating if Notts didn't get promoted through the playoffs. But then you've even got like Ali's in, who's a Woking fan, saying, "Hi, Luke, congrats to Shaman. We were poor." Even Darryl Sile, he's had a bit of a budget to work with, but he's still overachieved this season. Someone said, "Thank you, Shaman, for beating Woking." No problem. Thanks, Luke, for showcasing every game and for educating American fans like me about the National League. Great backstory. You've done a brilliant job. I'm a Wrexham fan who will keep watching. Oh, that's great to hear. Honestly, it does. And I know it's a bit of a cliche, but stuff like that does really do mean a lot to me when, you know, I get people from all over the world that are tuning in just to listen to me ramble on for an hour so every week. Just looking at the numbers now, run just started and just got short of 50 people in the stream. So, yeah, it's amazing. And I do, honestly, and I do say this from the bottom of my heart, I do thank everyone that tunes in every single week. And I am going to miss Wrexham and potentially not. So any other club who gets promoted next season. But of course, that gives an opportunity to welcome a few more in, including Rochdale and hopefully Hartlepool from my perspective. Our games mean nothing to us now. Time to get ready for the FA Trophy final. Well, I would say they do because, of course, you want to be going into that FA Trophy game with a bit of momentum, if you can say that. You know, you've just beaten Bournemouth away from home, and of course, if you want a trip to Torquay, of course, it's quite far. You can try keep them promoted by absolutely destroying Maidenhead, and obviously you'd be expecting Torquay to win that as well. Hope Notts come up with us and can give us another good title race next season. Not quite as intense as this season, but we'll love to lock horns again. Yeah, we will never see something like this again in the National League, to be honest. At least while it's been sponsored by Vanarama. Thanks, John. 1 point mean nothing now. We need to replicate our league form in the playoffs and earn the right. Nothing given. And then we've also had Chris, to that exact point, this is why rules need to be changed. Notts had every bit as historic season, and if something happens due to injury or illness and they don't move up in journey, just not right. Well, no, we know this, to be fair. Someone said, brilliant job, Luke. Well done. Thank you for your kind words once again. Someone said, do Halifax have a rivalry with Rochdale? Yes, we do. Probably because we're similar sized clubs, and also back, I think, the old Halifax club, because we haven't really locked horns recently. We obviously we used to play each other all the time. It's local. It's like a Lancashire, West Yorkshire derby. Some may say, I don't personally. I think Oldham are a lot bigger club, and I don't think we've played them enough in time to call them a derby. But some people call that a derby. If Oldham's a derby, then Rochdale certainly is a derby. I know my dad's got a few stories from when he went to Rochdale last time that weren't pretty. So yeah, it's going to be definitely going to be an interesting one when they do come down next season. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one for certain. It's going to be interesting to see how they do. Someone said it sucks, John, but this was the rules at the start of the season, and whatever happens to us, I'm hoping this accelerate the move, the 3 up from this division. Well, that's the only thing. If Notts don't get promoted this season, surely that would force a change next season. But it always comes down to this vote, doesn't it? And that's the awkward bit in trying to change it. Someone said, none of those managers should win. It only one person, and that's Southend, Kevin Mayer. Yeah, it's all about opinion, to be fair. I understand why you've said that, but I can only nominate 3 managers and others common. section. Are Braintree going up? Big question. Love to see what Angela Harrop has done. Honestly, to be brutally honest, I've not really paid any attention to the National League South. All I know is Ebbsfleet are going to get promoted, and you've also got Oxford City, I know, up there. Dartford are up there. A few clubs are up there, but honestly, I'd have no idea. I just cover the clubs when they get promoted. I know a bit about the National League North, but that's probably because I'm Northern, and I'm sure it's vice versa to those who are Southern who would tune in. Someone said we have won against Maidenhead before in the league at home, but that score was 7-1 to us. Yeah, I remember hearing that at one point. So you never know. Someone said, "Are you not including Mike Williamson in the manager of the season?" Honestly, there's probably about over half the managers in the division you could include. I know you're obviously a Gateshead fan. It's difficult because obviously he's got them to Wembley, he's kept them up. It's job well done. I don't think with the resources he could have done too much better, but it is so difficult. Let me put it this way. So let's just say if they weren't nominated, click on over, I'll put the percentage in there, and then also tell us below as the stream goes on who you would be voting for. Well, who you would be voting for if they were unlimited options. Someone said Hartlepool v Gateshead will be interesting next season too. Yeah, they're both Northern, I know. Someone said I hope there is 3 up next season. However, Notts have no right to go up. The only team that earned that are Wrexham. Someone said, I bet Rochdale and Hartlepool will be champion 3 up next season. Yeah, I think everyone does when they come down. Someone said, an Oldham fan, Peter Clark is the leader of the Latics. Someone said, I don't buy all the Knots deserve to go up. If you're good enough to win the playoffs, you win the playoffs. And then finally, before we move on to the predictions, Gateshead will be up there next season. Decent team, yeah. I think it all depends on keeping that group together. If they do, then certainly I totally agree with you. But it is keeping that group together that's going to be the hard bit in the summer. And of course, adding to that as well, which I still think they need to do to be in the playoffs next season. So yeah, moving back to the table, obviously that can change, like we mentioned. Halifax, that is when I look at that Halifax 10th place finish. I'm not saying I would have taken this start of season, but a trip to Wembley and a 10th place finish isn't actually a bad season compared to the majority of the season. We've been like 16th, 17th, 18th, just hanging on outside of the relegation zone. So to be 10th now, it is quite amazing. I wouldn't say a false position because I think everyone who in your respective positions at the end of the season is right to be in that position. But yeah, that's a very, very good finish in my opinion compared to where we were. Same with the likes of Oldham as well. It's hard to think that you've got Wealdstone, who throughout the season have been 9th, 8th, some I think had a bit of a spell in the playoffs at the start. And then you look at them now, and Halifax and Oldham could finish higher above them this season. It's quite hard to think of it like that. Solihull as well down there, Gateshead, Alty, Dorking, Aldershot. And then the sides that can mathematically go down are York, who are safe, let's be honest. Maidenhead, I'm going to say safe. It would be a miracle, but one of the biggest miracles that you'd ever see if Torquay survived this season. And unfortunately, I cannot see that happening. I think they blew it at Altrincham, to be honest. They were 2-1 up, and then the penalty went in, and they blew it. I think if you're a Torquay fan, you're very frustrated. You know, the steps you've moved forward in previous weeks, you've done so well to get back in this position now. You've just run out of games, to be honest, at the wrong time when you've hit form. So a bit unfortunate from Torquay, but honestly, that's all sorted now. Down near the bottom, to be honest. Anyway, let's move on to predicting the games. Then please remember to get involved with the predictions in the live chat. Let's have a look then. I know a lot of the games, like I mentioned, are meaningless, depending on where side they're wanting to finish, etc. I don't know. What do we guys think? Do we think that games are meaningless at this point of the season? Where shall we go first? Luke, let us know where you want to go after this then. And then, because I know you like to do that, so we'll have a look. I'll just have a look at what the poll's saying at the moment. I will leave it for a bit. Everyone seems to be voting for Phil Parkinson, but I'm guessing there's a lot of Wrexham fans in the stream. Yeah, let's move on to the predictions then. Let's start off with Aldershot versus Altrincham then, if I can get this up. So, like I've mentioned, a game which doesn't really have too much to it, to be honest. I don't think Aldershot can they finish above Altrincham. Yes, they actually can. It depends on goal difference, though, because Aldershot have a minus 14 goal difference, and Altrincham, sorry, and then Aldershot have a minus 12. So yeah, if Aldershot beat Altrincham, they can actually finish above them this season. Honestly, it's another week where I haven't really had any chance to really revise any predictions in advance. I've been extremely busy, so it's just totally off the top of my head. Aldershot are very bad at home. They're very, very poor at home. Altrincham, I think, a bit hit and miss, especially recently. You know what? I'm going to back Aldershot. I think being at home last game of the season, I think they'll win this. I'm going to go 2-1 to Aldershot. What has everyone else been predicting then? Let's have a look. 2-2 draw, scrappy. Someone said this is one that. When is your team of the season video coming out, Luke? Basically, I'll be honest, I've got my GCSEs this year, and I need to do well on those, to be honest. So obviously, I would have liked to have had that out by now. There's other videos I would have liked to have had out by now, but I'm going to be honest, I do have to prioritise me school, if you get what I mean. I hope you do understand. But I need to get my GCSEs, to be honest. But I will be doing that. It will be coming out soon. It might be after the playoffs. It might be before the playoffs. I had a few ideas, but honestly, they've gone a bit up in flames at the moment, to be honest, because I've just been so busy. But yeah, I'm hoping to do that very, very soon. So yeah, I won't forget that. Luke, you hate Wrexham, don't you? No, don't really hate anyone, to be honest. Because obviously I've covered this division, I get on with a lot of their supporters. Don't get me wrong, I like to see them lose, but I like to see them lose because obviously they're the, I wouldn't say biggest club, but I'd say obviously they've got the best side in the division, the most backing behind them, ownership, etc., takeover. So obviously, yeah, I do like to see them lose, but I wouldn't say that I hate Wrexham. No, I wouldn't say that, and I don't really hate anyone, to be honest. Someone said Dorking versus Scunthorpe, mate. We'll go there next. Someone said 1-0 to Aldershot. Someone said good luck, cheers for this, thanks for the kind words. Someone said I'm doing my GCSEs next year. Fingers crossed you'll pass them. Yeah, fingers crossed I will do that. I'll be happy when I've got them over and done with, to be honest. Let's move on then. Please remember to like and subscribe as well. So we'll go to Dorking versus... yeah, we said Dorking versus... I can find it. Yeah, Dorking versus Scunthorpe. Scunthorpe, well, we know they're down. Dorking, nothing to play for. One thing I will say, you'll be wanting to finish the season on the high. Scunthorpe win, it gives them a bit of positive momentum heading into next season. But they've still only got one away winner all season, Scunthorpe. And Dorking are just comfortably safe, not really playing for anything. I can see a lot of goals in this game. I think I'll go for a draw, 2-2 draw. I think if you're a Scunthorpe fan now, there's been I've heard a bit of news that's come out of them recently that I don't know how true it is. I was just flickering through Twitter and I saw that. But it feels like the ownership's not. Well, no, it's gone through, don't get me wrong, and they've got a new owner, but there's talks about this new owner not having the best interests in the club at all. So I'm hoping that as a Halifax fan, even, that this is incorrect, and I'm hoping that the owner does have the best interests of Scunthorpe, and next season they can have a good go at trying to get back promoted to the National League. But if they can get something at Dorking, it might do them a bit of positivity to end the season, reward those supporters that will be travelling down to Dorking, because you'll probably be expecting not many to go at all. I can almost guarantee, I should say, that there'll be over 100 there following Scunthorpe all the way down at Dorking. for the last game of the season. So I do hope that Scunthorpe can get something for their supporters. But I'm going to go for a draw, 2-2 draw. Both sides like to score a reasonable amount of goals, especially Dorking. So yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Yeah, and I think as a Dorking fan, it's been a good season. You're safe now. Scunthorpe, it's about rebuilding for next season. See what people have been saying. Second biggest behind Oldham. Yeah, I am in year 11. Someone said 3-1 to Dorking. Someone said 1-0 to Scunthorpe, 2-0 to Dorking. Scunthorpe fans in Iron. Welcome to the stream. 2-1 to Alsey, back to that old game. Yeah, keep your predictions coming in, guys. Don't be afraid to get your thoughts as well on the topics that we're talking about. Where shall we go next then, Luke? I'm waiting for you to tell us where to go next. Someone said Stuart Donald has bought Eastleigh. Let's see, have a quick look at the poll. Similar. Yeah, it's similar. I think there's going to be one winner, to be honest, at the moment. See what people have been saying. Wrexham FC has shown a huge spotlight on the Vanarama National League. All teams are now well known globally. Many of these teams, apart from us, have also gained fans. Yeah. And then my sources are saying Barnet v Dagenham and Redbridge. Someone said, does the National League lose a lot if not get promoted? I think we'll lose another big club, but I think we've already lost a big club with Wrexham. And from a selfish point of view, I didn't want either to go, but that's a selfish point of view, not because I dislike either club, just because they bring a lot to the National League. I like to speak to your supporters. It does bring a lot of not just attention, but interesting attention to the National League as well. You don't hear stories every day about global celebrities coming over to watch Wrexham. Notts County, of course, are the oldest football club, former football club in the Football League, a founding member of the First Division as well. So, yeah, I think we do lose a lot with Notts County, but I think we'd lose a lot with a lot of clubs in this division. Southend, we lost them. Then that'd be a big club. Even the sides near the bottom, I think we're losing a lot with the likes of Scunthorpe and Torquay and Yeovil and even Maidstone, who are going down this season as well. Let's move on to this game then. Where are we at then? Dagenham versus Barnet. I don't think I think Barnet are fifth, and I don't think that can change. No, it can't change. So Barnet are fifth, have nothing to play for apart from trying to get momentum heading into the playoffs. I don't believe they played on Tuesday. Dagenham just isn't really too much to play for apart from finishing a bit higher up in the division, trying to get to 10th place. This season, I can see a lot of goals. I think Barnet do need to win this because I think it'll do them a world of good heading into the playoffs. But if you're a Barnet, you probably also think, we need to rest players because you don't want to be getting players injured for the playoffs, key players, because we know Barnet, they do have a small squad. And when they're coming up against teams, you want in your Kabambas playing, you want in your Pritchards playing in the playoffs, and you don't want them getting injured because I do know Harry Pritchards can be a little bit injury prone. So of course there's a few players that I think Barnet will be trying to rest maybe for the playoffs. I don't know what Barnet fans think of that, but also you can flip that on the head and basically say that you're wanting to give them game time ahead of the playoffs because they're not going to be playing for 2 weeks. I don't think so. First prediction that came in is Barnet 1, Dagenham 1. What a turnaround from Oldham compared to the start of the season. I'm saying this now. Next season, Oldham, they'll be in the playoffs. I'm very confident next season they'll be in the playoffs. They'll get rid of this dead wood that they have left behind and they'll bring in quality next season, because we have to remember at the start of the season they were in turmoil and although they got taken over, it still takes time for them to get rid of the dead wood and repair what had happened off the field. Someone said Halifax are a bigger club than Harrogate. What are they doing in League Two? I don't know. I sort of want them to stay there, to be honest, because they don't bring anything to this division at all. They're a club that can stay up there, to be honest. Don't deserve in that division. It frustrates me. I don't like saying this, but it does frustrate me seeing clubs like Harrogate having this success with no history behind them whatsoever. Yeah, it's frustrating. Let's put it this way. Who do you want to get promoted from the National League North and the National League South? We'll come back to that once I've given my prediction. So I'm gonna say 3-2 Barnet. I think there'll be a lot of goals. Both sides like to score a lot of goals. Both sides have prolific goal scorers as well. Yeah, I'm going to go 3-2 to Barnet, in my opinion, on this game, which I think will do them a lot of good heading into the playoffs. But Dagenham are the sort of side that turn up at Barnet and defeat them, to be honest, on the final game of the season, because they are that sort of side, to be honest. Let us know who you do want to see come up from National League North and South this season. For me, I'll just have a look at the table. I know from National League North, I would like Fylde because I think they're going to win. It's either them or Kingsley who are going to win the league. And I don't want Kingsley back because it's Norfolk. And it's quite far for a northern side, let's put it this way. And also, I would have Scarborough in the playoffs is an interesting one. I think everyone here would love to go to Scarborough on an away day. You've got Scarborough, you've got Chester. I wouldn't mind them coming back to the division. Good fan base as well there. I think would do a lot in this division, bring a lot to the league as well. I know Wrexham fans will probably disagree with that. But then you've got Kidderminster as well. You know, they're a big club that shouldn't be in there. So I won't mind Kidderminster coming up through the playoffs either. So honestly, as long as Fylde win the league, Kidderminster, Chester, or Scarborough get promoted, I'm not too fussed, to be honest, who gets promoted from the National League North. As for the South, Ebbsfleet are getting promoted. I did go there in the FA Cup, and I actually quite enjoyed it, to be fair. Good food, quality food. They had about 3 burger vans, and I don't even think they were burger vans, to be honest. Proper marquee setup with quality food. So for any Southern fans down there or Northern fans like myself, we do travel quite far down south. That is a good away day. The only problem is it is an open terrace, and I'm not a big fan of those. I prefer it when there's a roof on it because it generates more of an atmosphere. And then you've also got Dartford who are down there. And that Oxford City interests me. So we've got at the moment, Ebbsfleet are going to win the league. Dartford, Oxford, Chelmsford, Worthing, Braintree. I don't really want Braintree back. And then St Albans will be in it, and that's like near Bournemouth, I think. And then I'd be interested to see like Oxford City get promoted. To be honest, I'd be interested to see what they could do in our division. Then again, I look at the majority of the teams from the south, and I think they're going to go straight back down. Honestly. I think Ebbsfleet could survive and hold their own in the division, but apart from that, I can't see any of the others surviving next season. Where this season, of course, what's been so good about it near the bottom as well is the fact that it was so unpredictable this season. Usually you'd have sides that come up from the south and go, they're going down. Maybe the same with the north, but honestly, I think Ebbsfleet will get promoted and. They're the only side that I think could survive, especially considering how many points they've won it by. But I look at like Dartford or Oxford or any of the other playoff teams, and I just can't see them surviving, to be honest. I think I'd be interested to see what Oxford City could do. So I'd probably say I'd like them to get promoted from the south as well, where I do think anyone in that playoffs in the north, maybe exclude Alfreton, Buxton, Brackley. I don't think they'd survive if they came up, but sides outside of the playoffs, I know it's very competitive, isn't it, in that division at the moment? I think is it from 12th all the way to 6th they can fall into the playoffs. So I think Kidderminster, I want them to sneak into the playoffs. I'd probably stick with the ones that I've wanted to. I just want sides that I know are going to come up and make it a little bit more unpredictable when the game got promoted. Like Dorking, stereotypically, you might look at them and say, all right, they're going to go straight back down. Small club, no history. They're going to go straight back down. That's not being offensive to them, but that might be how people do see it at Dorking because of where they've come from. But you knew all along with a manager like Mark White, the rise of them, where they've come from, and how well successful that they've been, that they give a good account of themselves in this division. And that's what I want when sides get promoted. I don't want sides who you can guess at the start of the season they're going to go down, and they usually do, if that does make sense. Someone said, hello, Kez in the stream, who's an Oldham fan. Hopefully, Bournemouth get relegated next season. Most boring, frustrated club to grace the non-league. I know we've had one or two of them who've tuned in recent weeks, so I'm not going to comment on that. FC United, there is 36 goals scorer, Polian, I think, 100 points this season. Karate business money, if they hold on to everything and invest a little more, that they can be playoffs or just outside next season. I'll probably do a lot more research on them when they do get promoted. When they're actually the next season does fall, I'll probably have a little bit more of a look on them. But they looked a very good side when Halifax played them. National League North, far more interesting this weekend, and the relegation winner takes all. Dover v Weymouth. Yeah, it's interesting to see how far they've fallen. Weymouth, I'm surprised how poor they've been. I know they're down there. I had a look at them. That'd be a good away day, I think, because it's near the beach and it's near Bournemouth, I think. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind of them coming back up, but I think they might be falling even further down. Someone said Chester will have a shock at the standard in the league, straight back down. Someone said Mark White, what a legend. Who said Chester are going up? I think Fylde will win the league and Chester will do playoffs. Would be nice if Chester could chase up the league and we can be FL Derby again, Football League Derby again. Yeah, I don't know what Wrexham fans think of that. I know a few hate Chester, but you got to be honest. You want to play your main rivals, don't you? At some point, that's what I'd be wanting to do. To be honest, we'll move back onto the predictions because we've gone totally off. This is why I need someone to join me in the future as well, so I don't just waffle. Go to let's do Torquay v Wrexham. We'll cover Wrexham for the last time this season. This is technically not a meaningless game, but realistically it is. Wrexham, nothing to play for. It's a promotion party for them. I don't think they really care about the actual game, Wrexham fans. It's just a good day out in Torquay to celebrate your promotion. Torquay would have to win like 4-0 and then be expecting Gateshead to beat Maiden at 3-0. And that is just not going to happen, is it? Let's be honest. It's actually a hard one to call because Wrexham have nothing to play for. Don't know if they're going to rest players because they don't have anything to plan for, do they? Apart from that pre-season tour, which including the name, it's pre-season. Feel like a draw for this one. I'm gonna go 1-1. That's what my prediction is for that one. Let's see what people have been predicting. Please remember to get your predictions in the live chat. Also, as I can just be honest, these games, and I'm just being honest here, a lot of them are meaningless. Let's be honest. It's the first game week where probably about 3/4 of the division have nothing to play for. The other quarter has a few things to play for. So please fire a few questions at me if you want, or just to the general chat. We'll have a chat about a few questions as I just basically fly through these predictions. Ask me anything and I'll try answer it if I can. And also, just remember to give your opinions once again on the relative topics. But I'm going to go 2-2 for that one. Let's just fly through these, to be honest now. Halifax v Eastleigh. I won't mind a top half finish. That's the only thing. Eastleigh have nothing to play for. I'm going to back Halifax. I think form at the moment. I think we're unbeaten in 8 now, I think. And some of the wins we've had. Woking away we've defeated. Wrexham at home we've defeated. Took points off Bromley and Dagenham. Destroyed Maidstone, sorry. I think us being at home last game of the season, we've got Wembley to think about as well. I think we'll win this. I'm going to go 2-0 to Halifax in this game, but I don't think Eastleigh will be too bothered about that result either because they have nothing to play for. So yeah, I'm going to back Halifax in this one. 2-0 to Halifax, on form at the moment. I can't see many sides being able to beat us, especially at home at the moment. The way that we're playing, we're just playing off that Wembley game. To be honest, what have people been saying on the games then? Was this the previous game who said 1-1? Someone said, if they let Mullen get a hat trick, I don't care if Torquay beat us by 9. I'd hate to send them down. Yeah, I think a lot of Wrexham fans, especially the older ones, especially the older Wrexham fans, won't want to see Torquay go down because we all know that Torquay, they're a big club in this division and they shouldn't be down there this season. Someone said, would VNL be interesting? Would VNL be as interesting a league if it had 3 up? Probably not. No, to be honest, that's what makes it so unique and so competitive. But we've also got to think about our clubs, not just about the league as a whole. We've got to think about our clubs and our chance of getting out here. There's too many clubs that are stuck in this division and need to get back into the National League, League 2. So it's needed, definitely. But I know Nunley Bible had his opinion on this. He was also just a general National League supporter. Obviously covers a page on Instagram and Twitter as well. He was saying it'd lose its whole uniqueness compared to other divisions. So it's got two sides to it. It certainly wouldn't be as interesting. Don't get me wrong, it would still be interesting, especially for all of us who support National League clubs. But what the issue is the fact that if at the moment, if 2 go up, then too many clubs are getting stuck here now, to be honest. Someone said, sorry, Luke, think he was going there until I distracted him. Would have much rather had Maidenhead down than Torquay. I think, I don't want to comment on it. I like what Maidenhead do, but every season you're expecting the same from them. They're never, and this might be famous last words next season, but they're never going to be a playoff team. They're never going to threat for promotion next season, where in the future, Torquay could potentially in the future because of the size of their club. But Maidenhead, they're another club that brings something totally different to this division compared to other clubs. We look at Maidenhead and we look at a side like Wrexham and see the difference in the two sides, considering how long both sides have, how many times both sides have played each other. It's quite amusing and just shows how great the National League is as a whole. But of course, when you think of that, you think of Torquay or Maidenhead, people are going to have the different opinions on that. Honestly, I don't really want Torquay to go down at all. I get on with a lot of their supporters. Someone said Torquay is a great weekend away and decent fans. Agree with you, and League Two clubs should vote for it as they will be there someday. Yeah, they certainly will. Torquay have put a good fight in the last 8 games. Yeah, just run out of games, to be honest. 15 years in the dungeon, so watch out. It's the dragon is loose. That's actually, I like that comment, to be fair. I think a lot of Wrexham fans will. We'll move back onto the games. Let's go to Notts v York. Notts, I think, is a bigger game for Notts than it is for York. Although York technically can still go down, but they're not, to be honest. Notts need to win this because they need to be informed going into the playoffs. If they lost this game, then I think they start to feel a bit nervous and there'll be a bit more tension than what they already would be with what goes with the playoffs, thinking, oh God, if York can beat us at home, then a side like Woking or Barnet or Bromley or Bournemouth can, certainly. So I think Notts, they need to win this game. I think they probably will rest 1 or 2 players. But I'm going to back them. I think they'll win 2-0. I think they've got enough quality in the squad to win this game 2-0. And I think York, it's more another one where it's just about the day out, to be honest. Safe from relegation, 19th place finish for them. They won't be too bothered with that. They're on -8 and Torquay are on -21. So, yeah, it'd be like, what would it be then? 13-0 they'd have to lose. Well, no, it'd be like 6-0 and then Torquay. Yeah, it's just not going to happen, is it? Oldham v Bromley. Let's go to this one now. Bromley, they can either finish 6th or 7th. Oldham probably want to end the season off well. I think this will be a draw, 1-1. Predicted a lot of draws for this game. I think a 1-1 draw for this game. Bromley, they're a bit of a dark horse in the playoffs, in my opinion. They could be a strong side. Can cause an upset, and so can Bournemouth. Very well organised. I know a lot of people dislike Andy Woodman, but you have to credit him for what he's doing there at the moment. We'll move on to the next game then. Let's go to... What else could there be? It's interesting. We've done that, not done that, not done that, done that, done that, not done that. Let's go here. Gateshead v Maidenhead. I know Mr. Link mentioned it, and I've seen it on Twitter that Gateshead beat Maidenhead, don't know how long ago, 7-1. They'll be needing something like that. Torquay will be praying for a repeat of that once again. But Torquay, even if that did happen, which is very unlikely, Torquay would have to defeat Wrexham, which, even though Wrexham have mathematically got promoted now, it's still a big ask to beat Wrexham, considering the difference between points. Wrexham have over double Torquay's total points this season. I think this will be a draw. No, I can't predict another draw. I honestly, I can probably see Gateshead winning this again. Not by 6 goals. I'm gonna go 2-0 to Gateshead for this one. That'd be my prediction for that one. We'll move on then to the next game. I think Gateshead will be obviously wanting to get a bit of momentum, keep that momentum going for Wembley as well. And I do say momentum a lot, but I think it is crucial, to be fair, especially when you've got Wembley coming up. Where can we go next then? I think we've got 3 games left. We haven't done... Let's get Solihull v Woking out the way. The reason I didn't predict a draw for the last one is because I'm going to predict a draw for this one. Solihull's a hard place to go. If you see here, where Solihull are, where are they in the home form? Oh, it's gone right down to where I thought, to be fair. But as you can see, they are a hard side to beat. Only 6 defeats at home all season. Woking away from home, a good side. I think it'll be a draw. I think there's a lot of pressure on... Well, there's more pressure on Chesterfield to get the job done, but Woking, it's not in their hands anymore. I think they blew it against Halifax, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can get a reaction from that, because losing at home in the front of over 3,000 supporters in one of your biggest games of the season, which it was, because he could have got that 3rd place, might be the reason that they don't finish 3rd. Well, I think he's going to be the reason they don't finish 3rd, and I can't see them beating Solihull away from home. Reminds me of Halifax, 4th place playing someone like Bournemouth at home in the playoffs, or maybe Southend if they somehow sneaked through. I don't want to say this because Woking have had such a good season, and I'm not going to predict the playoffs early, but they remind me of Halifax last season, where if they drop points to Solihull, finish 4th, it'd be so devastating that they haven't finished 3rd. They'd be so frustrated because of that. How are they going to react to that when they have to play a playoff game against a Bournemouth that are full of fire, knowing there's lack of pressure on them because they're going to 4th place in the league away from home? Bournemouth away from home were a very good side, 4th in the league. So that'll be a very, very difficult game for Woking in the playoffs. And yes, it could also be Southend too. Move on to the next game then. Let's go to Chesterfield v Maidstone. 4-0 Chesterfield. I think they'll win it. If you want any game to secure a 3rd place finish this season, you want Maidstone at home. And they've got that. And this is what happens to big teams. Let's just be honest. Throughout the season, they've been 4th. Woking have looked likely to finish 3rd. Woking have a stumble at the wrong time, and Chesterfield get a game like Maidstone at home to secure a third place finish. It's what happened last season with Halifax and Solihull. Solihull had more depth, more money, and that was why they finished third and we finished fourth last season. And it's going to be interesting to see how Woking react to that in the playoffs. So, yeah, I think Chesterfield will win that 4-0. Maidstone, nothing to play for at all, apart from pride, to be honest. Let's move on to the next one then. And we're on the final two. And this is probably, I think, the most interesting thing about the game week is Southend v Wealdstone and Bournemouth v Yeovil. So for this one, Wealdstone, a mid-table, that's where they're finishing. Disappointing, I'd say. They did get a win, though, actually, recently. And Southend will be wanting to win to potentially break into the playoffs, and I think they're going to do that again. I'm actually going to go for. I think Southend will scrap it. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Southend win. That's my prediction for this game. A lot of quality in that Southend side. When I have actually done a slight concept of my National League team of the season, and I was thinking, there's a few Southend players in there. And I probably won't be actually bringing this out. I might do it. I might just put it out on one of the game weeks of the playoffs or previews that we will be doing. Actually, I might actually show this, but I'm going to do my own underrated National League team of the season. So players that will miss out, which should miss out. To be fair, they haven't been the best players in their respected positions. But what I will say is they deserve a lot of credit, and they are certainly underrated, in my opinion, this season. And there were a few Southend players, and when I was looking at drafting that, there were a few that I thought, yeah, they could get in maybe. Both wingers in Briggs and, of course, who's the other one? Briggs and Powell. You've got Cav Miley as well, who might actually, don't really want to say this, but might actually sneak into my team of the season yet. You've got him, Lapata, who's obviously not with them now, but he's definitely deserves a shout in getting in that National League team of the season, in my opinion. So yeah, I think Southend, they've had a good season overall under the circumstances. Disappointed for them, they haven't worked into the playoffs, but if they can sort this ownership issue out, which has been something we're talking about for years, it seems to have gone a bit quiet there, doesn't it, at the moment? If they can sort that out for next season, which is a big if, you never know where they could be next season, but they've made a lot of steps moving forward compared to the previous season. So, yeah, I think overall a good season for them, even if they don't break into the playoffs, but I think they'll win this. Finally then, Bournemouth v Yeovil. Bournemouth, a bit of pressure on them because the 7th, Southend, I think, will beat Wealdstone. So if that's the case, Bournemouth need to beat Yeovil at home. Fortunately, they're playing a Yeovil side that've got nothing to play for. But then again, both sides have the most draws in the division this season. Bournemouth have joint with Gateshead now. Yeovil have 19 draws. And Bournemouth have 15 draws this season. And I'm sort of leaning towards another draw, which would fire Bournemouth into the playoffs. And I've done a lot of draws tonight, but I think it'll be another draw, to be honest. I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw. That's my prediction for that one. Before we do wrap things up, let's see what people have been saying. Fire some questions in as well before we do wrap up tonight as well. Obviously, and I do realise that a lot of these fixtures are a bit meaningless. I just wanted to sort of preview all the games because we've done it all season, and it's the final game week as well. But yeah, they're all the games that I'm going to be predicting. We'll see how many points I have after this game week. We'll see how serious the sides do take. Let's have a look at what people have been saying before we wrap things up tonight. How close is the top score? I really hope Mullin doesn't win it. I think Langstaff's won it. I think, is he 40? I'll have a look now, actually. I think Paul Mullen's 38. That might have actually gone up now because of those Bournemouth goals. No, Paul Mullen has 38 goals and Langstaff has 41. So Mullen would have to score a hat trick against Torquay, which isn't unrealistic, being Paul Mullen. But I can see Langstaff scoring against York. It's going to be interesting unless he drops him. But I think Langstaff definitely deserves that reward, to be honest. Not scored 116 goals, not all about Langstaff. No, I totally agree with you there. I think there's loads of players at Notts that deserve an enormous amount of credit this season. And I think every team needs a main striker. And when you're playing in a Notts side, of course, you've got to be clinical, which he is. He's one of the best strikers we've ever seen in this division. I know why. I can see why people compare him to Jamie Vardy. But what I will say is, you've got to have players around you that are going to give you the ball and give you those opportunities to score. And that's what Notts have. They have Rodriguez setting him up. They've got Austin setting him up. They've got Namain setting him up. And there's loads of players as well. And of course, these players as well get on the score sheet. Rodriguez, I think he's got 18 goals, is it, for him this season? I'll see it now, actually, as I've got it. Yeah, 18 goals this season for him. Austin scored 6, I think. Chickson, I think he scored. Is it 8 he scored? Sure, Notts fan can correct me on that as well. Cameron, I think, has got 1 or 2. Basrami, they can score goals from a lot of different positions, to be fair, Notts County, but every team needs a main striker. Our top goal scorer has 9 goals and still got 81 points. That's Chesterfield. Andrew Dallas. Obviously, a lot of those goals weren't weren't Solihull, but he scored 18, and Paul McCallum scored 9. If I'm correct there. Best manager of the season, Kevin Mayer, hasn't been able to sign a player since pre-season. In embargo and countless off the pitch problems. Yeah, he deserves an enormous amount of credit. I'll agree with you on that. Chesterfield kept up for a long time. Fair play. Thanks, Luke, for all you do. I'm a new subscriber. I'm from Boston, USA. The love you all have for your football is amazing. Good luck on your exams and good luck to Notts. No offense to other teams. No, thanks for tuning in. I do really like reading things like that, to be fair. I do appreciate it as well when I get comments like that do come in. Someone said, I don't blame you. Playoffs are, are a B as both of us know. Looking like Maidstone are going to concede more goals than Dover last season. Someone said, put that down to the 46 games this season this time. Brom are going up. Maybe, you never know with the playoffs. I like Langstaff at Wrexham next season. Langstaff and Mullen, Wrexham win League 2. That'd be the dream from you, but I don't think Notts fans would agree with you there. And I don't think both strikers are getting 30 goals between them, to be honest. Someone said Southend are a good side. Yeah, they have been throughout the season. Very well organised. Langstaff is best suited for Notts County style, not ours. I totally agree with that. And then we said, can't wait to see Billy Waters next season. If he don't play, please send him back to Halifax because we'll have him back. I make you right there, Paul. Can Bromley at least get to the semis? They will be playing 4th. Well, no, they'd be playing 5th in the playoffs, and that's Barnet. And Barnet away, I believe, was it Bromley who defeated Barnet away from home? I know it was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? I'll have a quick look now, see when that was. Let's have a look when that was in the actual league. No, they drew at Barnet. That's a winnable game, to be honest. I think from Bromley away from home. I think this game week will tell a lot of the story on how the playoffs is going to plan out as much as possible. That is because it's so unpredictable. Someone said, "What teams do you have a soft spot for in the National League?" Well, I like a lot of clubs, to be fair. Who do I have a soft spot for? How many clubs can I mention, to be honest? But I like Dorking. I like sides that play nice football. That I can watch and go, yeah, I like watching them play. I like Dorking. They're a side that I have a soft spot for. Wheelstone, I have a soft spot for them. I like all three: Chesterfield, Notts County, and Wrexham. Southend, I like most clubs in the league. I'd like, to be honest. It's a hard one to say. Oldham, as you are an Oldham fan, don't mind them. To be fair, I don't dislike anyone, to be honest, in this division. And who will go down from National League South? We're moving into a different division here. I know there's the Dover game, isn't they, that someone mentioned, and Weymouth are going down. Weymouth, Concord are actually playing now, and they're drawing to Havant and Waterlooville. Hey, I forgot about Havant and Waterlooville. They used to be in our division as well. Remember Alfie Rusherford playing for them. Interesting to see where sides are now when you look at this. Who's going down? Honestly, I've got no idea, but I'd rather Weymouth stay up, so I think Weymouth will. Dulwich Hamlet are down there. I didn't know that. Do you think Wrexham will take the game seriously? Is it important to have a record of 113 points that will last a long time, or is it an opportunity to give young players a go? Dan Davis, Austin. Don't think it's real. Honestly, last game of the season, Wrexham have just claimed promotion. I don't think they'll be too fussed about playing youngsters, to be honest, because I think those youngsters are either going to be released in the summer or they're going to keep them on if they think they're good enough. And I think they'll be wanting to give players like Mullin the opportunity to have a go at trying an attempt of trying to break Langstaff's goal scoring record and break the points total as well. Next one we've got playoff winner then, Luke. Not predicting that yet because we've got a few shows coming up on that, and that's something for you all as we are here. That's something to keep you in the diary for everyone. Is that we'll be doing a few playoff shows. I am hoping to get what I did last season. I got one representative from each club who came on, and we had a massive discussion about the playoffs and their chances. And it's funny looking back at stuff like that now. I think it's only available on Twitter, to be fair, because it got taken down on YouTube. And it's funny, we had the Grimsby fan on who came on, and I think a lot of people said, "Oh, they're going to be the dark horse," and what were they? Yes, they were. I thought Notts were going to do well in the playoffs. We had Tim from Fearless in Devotion on, a Wrexham fan. That was interesting. Yeah, it was really good, that, to be fair. So I'm hoping to do that again. I'm hoping to add more as well, but that's the only thing I'm going to say I'm doing at the moment, because I hate to give you false promises because, like I mentioned, I'm busy, to be honest, at the moment. If County don't do playoffs this season, surely they will win the league next season. It's all in hindsight. Well, it's all in theory, though, isn't it? Next season, Wrexham win the league. We said last season when Wrexham finished second, they're just going to win it next season. And of course they did, but Notts County gave them one hell of a go. Next season, if Notts didn't win promotion, it'd be them and Chesterfield up there, and Chesterfield will probably up their game as well, or Oldham, or there'll be someone up there with them. They won't walk away with the division because no one does in this division at the moment. Will you provide the commentary next season for League 2? Does that mean as in doing a podcast for League 2? I don't know what I'm going to do next season. All I'm going to know is I'm wanting to cover the National League again. I know a few people have mentioned covering League 2 because there's a few clubs now that are in there that I do have a soft spot for. Stockport, like to see them do well. Grimsby as well. Leighton Orient, well, they've got promoted again, haven't they now? Leighton Orient are in there. I don't know, to be honest. I'll probably discuss that when the playoffs are over and see who gets promoted. Notts County or Wrexham need to change their attack. Both are scoring bucket loads. Leave alone. Love this season and the game week predictions that you've done, mate. Will you see you next season for some more? Yeah, you certainly will. We'll try get a vlog for the FA Trophy game as well. Sam Austin has been phenomenal the last 2 months. All comfortably replace Rodriguez if he moves on. He's got the second most amount of assists in the division, Sam Austin, and guess who's first? Rodriguez. Someone said, because of Cannon O'Connor, Lee and O'Connor, we are, I think you said O'Connor's right, yeah, we are starting to play more than through the midfield, which is great. Chickson, 11 goals it was, by the way. He only scored 3 in the whole career before that. Thoughts on artificial pitches in League Two? Don't agree with them, to be honest. Don't really. I don't. It's something that I think is another thing that makes the National League unique. You're getting big clubs playing on artificial pitches, but I think the way this league's going at the moment, I disagree with those. I think the likes of Bromley, who obviously have them, I'm not a big fan of artificial pitches, to be honest, at this level. Someone said, great content, by the way. There isn't enough National League coverage and discussion on YouTube. This is totally why I do it, because I like to talk about the National League. I like to hear people's opinions. And yeah, when I was younger, I always wanted to. When I was an Halifax fan, I was always looking for coverage on there, and it was all on Spotify. And I think it's each their own, isn't it? Some people can listen to Spotify and probably prefer this to this. For me, honestly, I struggle to listen to Spotify for a long period of time. It's just all about opinions, isn't it? So it's totally why I started something like this. Did you still want us to lose? In League Two? No. I want to see where you go. I want to see how far you can progress, and it'll be interesting to watch you. I want to see Grimsby do well. I want to see Wrexham do well. I want to see Stockport do well. I want to see all the clubs that I've covered over the last couple of seasons do well. Yeah, I also have a soft spot for Dorking. What a class club. If you dislike Dorking, then just take a look at what they've done and some of the things that Mark White's done, and then you might change your mind. Who doesn't love Dorking? Just got a Dorking match one shirt. Congratulations to you, and let us know who that player is who you've just got. And someone said, I think is that Chesham? Not sure of spelling. Already gone from National League South. Yeah, I know they've gone. I did see that. Notts must join us in League Two. There should be a limit, like 15 points, where the playoffs are cancelled. I don't want that, but I think Notts fans would be loving that if that happened. Gareth Bale to Wrexham. It gets madder and madder every single day, doesn't it? They do that in one of the European leagues, I think, Paul. Let's go here. Since Wrexham will be in League Two, will you move on to that kind of content for a bit? I don't know at the moment. All I know is if I do cover a bit of League Two, I'll be covering the National League as well next season. And then we've got, will Wrexham go and dominate League Two next season, as people are considering them as a title contenders? Every club who gets promoted from this division always does well in League Two, like Notts County, Wrexham. I think Notts got promoted, they'd be up there next season. Wrexham get promoted, then they'll be challenging for promotion. Just look at Stockport. And then before we do wrap things up tonight, Alfie Rusherford match one shirt. Fair play. He's a proper striker as well. It's quite sad that we haven't been able to see him throughout the season. Thanks, Luke. I'll keep watching your great channel. Someone said, do you ever read the non-league newspaper? Great uncle does, if that means anything to you. I'm not probably because of my age, I'm not a newspaper sort of person, to be honest. It's never really interested. I don't know. It's never really interested me, to be honest. I never really go to the supermarket and think, oh yeah, I'm going to get the non-league paper. I think if it was in front of me, don't get me wrong, I'd read it. But no, I've never really had a look at it, to be honest. That's just my opinions. I think you should do a bonus section on League Two. We'll have to see, to be honest, because it changes all the thumbnails and everything. And at the first start of this podcast, people wanted me to cover the league below as well. And honestly, I thought in the end it just make it too complicated, and I didn't know enough about the leagues below. League Two, don't get me wrong, I know me bits about it because of the clubs in there. And I find it no disrespect, I find it a little bit more interesting than the leagues below. So we'll just have to see, to be honest. Do you plan to take these skills you are getting from doing these podcasts into a career? Hopefully I will in the future. That's the aim, I think, in the future. dreams to be on Talk Sport, but not to talk about the Premiership as they do all the time, to talk about the National League and League Two and League One and maybe the Championship as well. Just cover us and Notts then. If only it was that simple. If I was to cover you and Notts, I'd be covering. I'd end up covering everybody, to be honest. Let's look at the poll then before we do wrap things up. Phil Parkinson is your manager of the season. 7% for Dean Brennan, 7% for Darryl Sal, 32% for an other, and I used a few examples like Maynard, Williams, sugar, I spelt Williams wrong, etc. Phil Parkinson got the vote, and there were 68 voters for that. So cheers to everyone that voted for that. And yeah, just covers and knots. Yeah, I mentioned that. But yeah, almost wraps everything up, I think, to be honest. Thanks for tuning in throughout the season. I said this last week, but honestly, I do appreciate it when everyone tunes in, the community. I know it is a cliche, but I do mean it. I just love hearing your questions. We might have to do like an end of season Q&A yet. I don't know, to be honest. But I wouldn't mind doing something like that. Wrexham fans, good luck for the future after Saturday. I do wish you the best of luck in League Two. Hopefully you go on a bit of a run now. I very much doubt I'll ever be covering you again unless, of course, I cover League Two next season. But I don't think I'll be covering you anytime soon. Maybe Halifax will meet you in the FA Cup one day, or we might get promoted, but you never know. And of course, good luck to everyone this Saturday too. And I think hopefully from Notts County's perspective, they rightfully get promoted this season, but you never know through the playoffs. But once again, thank you to everyone that's tuned in. It's been a pleasure to speak to you all throughout the season. It's great to see how much it's grown the channel. Yeah, so thank you to everyone that's tuned in. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you for the playoffs. And I will just put this out because this is I've never had that before, but £1.99 to the channel from Exotic, absolute legend. I don't know what I can do to award you for that, but I'll try find something. But you're the first person to ever donate to the channel, so thank you for that. Brighten me day, that. So thank you for that. Thank you for the donation. And yeah, I'll stop waffling now, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.